Yeah.
Cáiganle. Eso es fire. Hi everybody, this is Chef Dani from Cocina de Todos. We're here to make a salsa molcajete today. Today we're gonna start with the things that we need for our salsa. We're gonna need a molcajete. This one I actually brought myself all the way from Guadalajara. Flew it over here just so we could have a really nice one for the restaurant. We're gonna have some beautiful Jimmy Nardellos coming from a local farm called Eloisa, and they do a lot of the awesome chilies that we use in-house here. We have some garlic, a little bit of white onion that we'll need, tomatillos, and I'm using today an heirloom tomato. You can use any kind of tomato. I'm using an heirloom because it's beautifully in season right now in August here in Portland. And it's coming from also another local farm. They're heirloom seeds. They do a bunch of great tomatoes and we love to use their products in our restaurant. So to start, we're gonna need a pan and a little bit of oil to get this going. We will use a little bit of oil in the pan. And this is gonna be about a 4-step process here. We like to slowly toast everything and then take it one ingredient at a time into the molcajete. We're trying to get a specific consistency that the molcajete gives you that a normal blender or a food processor won't. That's the whole reason of using the molcajete for this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with the garlic first. And we're gonna just give it a nice toast. The garlic, what I'm trying to do with it is give it a nice caramelization, get all that sweetness to come out of it. You'll see a little smoke happening from the pan. That is completely okay. You want that smoke. That smoke is gonna mean that you're getting color, flavor, everything that you want out of your garlic. So now that the garlic has gotten some color and all of the sugars have come out of it, I will take them and put them in the molcajete. And I will I'm going to make a paste out of them with a little bit of salt. And then that'll start your seasoning for your salsa. This will be your base. So I'm just taking it, crushing it, using the molin part of your molcajete, and then just grinding it down to make a paste with that salt. So, like I was saying, a food processor is not going to give you this same texture. You're not going to be able to make a paste out of your garlic first. It's all just going to become one texture. So that's where a molcajete is different than using a blender or a food processor at home. So then our next step is going to be back to toasting our next ingredient. We're going to take a quarter of an onion here and do the same thing we did with that garlic. We're going to make a little bit of caramelization and sweetness coming out from this onion because that is going to then in turn come into your salsa flavor and giving you sweetness, smokiness from the charring and toasting of your onion. I actually like to cut everything up into smaller pieces as you're seeing because it helps you in your process of smashing in your molcajete. Makes it just a little bit easier when it's smaller pieces and makes the process just a little bit faster. You're not having to grind down or press down as big of pieces. So that's where I personally like to break everything down into just a little bit smaller pieces, and there's more surface area for your onions and everything to get charred and caramelization. So for the onions, I'm definitely gonna go on a higher heat than I did for the garlic because from these steps on, I really wanna try and get some char and some color because that is gonna give you a lot of nice smoky flavor. And so while these onions are going, we have some beautiful Jimmy Nardellos coming from a local farm. Like I said, they're coming from Eloisa. We're gonna take 2 of them, and just like I did the onion, I'm going to cut them down into smaller pieces. So when it goes into the molcajete, it'll be a little easier for breaking down. The Jimmy Nardellos are actually not very spicy chilies, and that is where a Fresno is gonna come into play. Fresno is gonna give you a little bit of spice. So you can have a little kick And if you would not like some kick, like I said, you can always take the seeds out. I like a little bit of spice, so I'm gonna leave the seeds in. I'm gonna do 1 Fresno and 2 Jimmy Nardellos. So now that we've gotten some really nice char and color on this onion, I'm gonna take it out and bring it into our molcajete. And while I have this onion here and I'll be grinding it, I'm gonna keep cooking my chilies. So I'm just gonna add a tiny bit more oil and I'll add those chilies in so then they can be cooking while I'm working on grinding down these onions. Be careful when it comes to your chilies because this smoke can be very spicy. You can smoke out your entire house. So I definitely suggest if you're doing this at home and you start getting a little smoke like that, crack a window. Turn on your fan because you can definitely basically create a little smoke bomb with this smoke that you're seeing come off the chilies. So now that we have our chilies nice and toasted, they're going to, same as the onions, go into here. And as you can see, we're creating this really beautiful paste that will give us a great texture for our salsa. So from here, I'm gonna cut 1 tomatillo and do the exact same thing that I've been doing to everything else, giving it a nice char. I'm gonna add a little bit more oil again, just like I did with all the other ingredients, so we can get that char and smokiness to come off of there. And while these are cooking, we'll go right back to smashing our chilies into our onions and garlic paste. And as you'll see, now our salsa color is gonna start changing a little bit. We're going from like a white color to a little more red now that we're breaking down these chilies. Make sure we move our tomatillos around so every side gets a little bit of color and caramelization. So while these tomatillos are cooking, I'm going to break down this tomato. I'm just gonna take the top off and the bottom off. And same as I did with everything else, I'm just going to cut it down into smaller pieces for when we go to smash into our molcajete. Because I take the bottoms and the tops off because they have a little root part that I just don't think is very appealing. And I like to take it out. All right, now that our tomatillos have gotten a nice color, nice char on them, we like that, just like that. We're gonna put them into our molcajete and once again, switch out with our tomatoes. All right, now that we have our tomatillos in here, we're gonna do the same thing that we've been doing with all our other ingredients. We're gonna take the tomatoes and put them in the pan to start getting some char and color while I break down those tomatillos. And as you can see in your molcajete, starting to get this really nice, beautiful paste. Right now, I'm gonna add a little bit more salt to give it another layer of seasoning, since we've added a few ingredients already, and we only seasoned lightly when we started. As some of these smaller tomato pieces are getting ready, I will start adding them in. So I'm just making sure every side gets charred. And as you can see now, it's starting to look more of like a substantial salsa. Getting that really nice red color from the tomatoes. All right, so we pretty much achieved the texture that I want. Still a little chunky. You can see most of what the ingredients are still, but they're not in huge chunks. So what I'm gonna do right now is taste it. See what it tastes like. Make sure we're getting all those right flavors. Just need some salt. That's all we're gonna go. And a little bit of acidity. I'm gonna finish it with a squeeze of lime and then give it one last little go. And then hopefully what you'll taste is a really nice, little bit smoky, a little bit sweet, not too spicy, nice salsa molcajete. So I'm gonna give it a try. And like I said, you should be getting some really nice sweetness from the Jimmy Nardellos, a little bit of spice from the Fresno, some acidity from the tomatillos, and sweetness from that caramelized onion and garlic. And this is gonna be our salsa molcajete. Once again, thank you very much. This is Dani from De Noche, from Portland, Al Mundo. Gracias.